Welcome to Mindfulness Mondays, a course by Hackney Care Center, facilitated by myself, Sarah Noakes. Over the next 8 weeks, we'll focus on understanding and building self-compassion and resilience. As a full-time carer, you're probably faced with unrelenting demands on your time and energy, resulting in feelings of anxiety, depression, guilt, which can all lead to high levels of stress. These sessions aim to help you focus on the present and to become more aware of your thoughts and feelings so that you're better able to manage them instead of being overwhelmed by them. Each session will consist of reflective exercises, informal mindfulness practice, and meditations. So, let's get started. What is self-compassion? And what does self-compassion mean to you? Well, self-compassion is typically the ability to turn understanding, acceptance, and love inwards. Many people are able to extend compassion towards others, but find it difficult to extend the same compassion towards themselves. Compassion is the ability to show empathy, love, and concern to people who are in difficulty. And self-compassion is simply the ability to direct those same emotions within and to accept oneself, particularly during times of hardship or distress. Many otherwise compassionate people often have a harder time showing compassion for themselves. Sometimes this is out of a fear of engaging in self-indulgence or self-pity. However, as we know, an inability to accept areas of weakness may lead to difficulty in achieving emotional well-being. Kristen Neff, a self-compassion researcher, describes self-compassion as having 3 key elements. The first is self-kindness, or the ability to refrain from harsh criticisms of the self. The second is recognizing one's own humanity, or the fact that all people are imperfect and all people experience pain and suffering at one point or another. The third is mindfulness, or maintaining a non-biased awareness of experiences, even those that might be painful, rather than ignoring or exaggerating their effects. Self-compassion is crucial for carers, not only because it helps us to forgive ourselves if mistakes are made or tempers are lost, but because it allows us to acknowledge and comfort ourselves alongside the challenges of our caring role. Developing self-compassion can help to decrease depression, anxiety, and even alleviate carer burnout. Over this course, you'll be supported to tap into your compassionate self and to foster it, making it easier to access during times of distress. In today's session, we'll begin to explore your capacity to be self-compassionate. We'll begin to establish mindfulness skills through 2 simple exercises that you'll be able to practice over the next week. So, to get started, we have a reflective exercise. For this exercise, I'd like you to go and grab a piece of paper and a pen. Once you have those, come back and we'll start the exercise by having you answer the following 2 questions. How do you respond to a friend when they're struggling? What do you say? What do you do? And what's your tone? Once you've answered question 1, please move on to question 2. So, reflect on how you treat yourself when you're struggling. What do you say to yourself? What do you do? And how do you find your tone? So, we'll take the next 3 minutes to think about and answer these questions. Great. I'd now like you to put down your pens and paper and to just quickly take note of any differences or similarities you might have seen between your responses to the two questions. We're now going to move on to our informal mindfulness practice. So to start off, we're going to explore soothing touch. So a really easy way to soothe and comfort ourselves when we're feeling badly is to give ourselves a gentle hug or touch, or even by simply putting your hand on your heart and feeling its warmth. Doing this might feel awkward at first, and you may even find yourself feeling embarrassed, but your body doesn't know that. Your body simply responds to the physical gesture of warmth, kindness, and care, very similar to how a baby might respond when being cuddled by mom or dad. Science shows that physical touch actually releases a neurochemical known as oxytocin, which provides us with a sense of security, can soothe distressing emotions, and calms cardiovascular distress. So the next time you notice yourself feeling upset, tense, self-blaming, or critical, I'd like you to try stroking your arm or your face. Maybe gently rock your body back and forth, or put your arms around yourself and give a little squeeze. It's important whatever action you choose conveys feelings of love, care, safety, and kindness. So we're now going to try this together in an exercise known as hand on heart. What I'd like you to do is to sit up with feet on floor, shoulders down, back straight. I'd like you to imagine a strong back supporting you and a soft front open to receiving kindness and love. Now, take 3 deep, stratifying breaths, ensuring they travel down through your lungs and into your tummy. Feel your stomach expanding with the inhale, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. We'll try this together for 3. Great. Now that we're feeling centered, I'd like you to either close your eyes or gently lower your gaze. You can look at the image that's on your screen, or perhaps it's something in the room that might bring you comfort. Now, I'd now like you to take your hand, whichever one you prefer, and place it on your heart. Take note of the feeling of gentle pressure and warmth of your hand. Continue to breathe deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Now, if you feel up to it, try placing both your hands on your chest, noticing the difference between 1 and 2 hands, any small changes in weight, pressure, warmth. I'd also like you to take notice of the sensations of your hands on top of one another. What does this feel like with regards to weight and pressure and warmth? Are any emotions being stirred? What are you feeling in this moment with your hands on your heart as you breathe in and out? What are you feeling? A sense of safety, protection, kindness, maybe love. Focus on those feelings, whatever they are, here in this moment. I'd now like you to take your two hands and begin to make small circles on your chest whilst maintaining breathing in and out. And we'll do this together for 3 deep breaths. Great. Continue with these small circles, focusing on any feelings of pressure and warmth that you may have in your chest, any emotions that might be coming to the surface. And simply feel the rising and falling of your chest as you breathe in and as you breathe out. We want to stay with these feelings for another 5 deep breaths. Great. What I'd like you to do is to try this exercise a few times over the next week, or whenever you find yourself feeling distressed. By doing so, you'll get to start to develop a habit of physically comforting and being kind to yourself. Okay? Moving on to our next informal mindfulness practice. We're going to be looking at how you can give yourself a self-compassionate break. So, for this exercise, what I would like you to do is to bring to mind somebody who makes you feel moderately annoyed, stressed out, or perhaps a little bit badly. So, for example, I'm thinking of my upstairs neighbor who walks really loudly, and I find it to be quite annoying. It's important that these feelings, the feelings of stress or annoyance, they're not strong enough that you feel overwhelmed, but just enough that you can feel a bit of stress in your body, be it between your shoulder blades, in your chest, maybe a little bit of discomfort in your arms and your legs, some restlessness. So what we can do to activate these feelings, if you're having a bit of trouble doing so, is by simply visualizing the situation until it makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable. So what we're going to do now is give ourselves 20 seconds to visualize that person or that situation that evokes those feelings of kind of annoyance or stress. Great. Now we're going to begin our exercise. So with those feelings, with that stress in your body, feelings of annoyance, maybe feeling a bit badly, I'd like you to say to yourself the following 2 phrases. This is a moment of suffering. I'd like you to encourage presence in this moment of sitting with those feelings. And suffering is a part of life. Bringing back that common humanity. Reminding yourself that everybody experiences suffering. Now, putting your hands over your heart again, taking note of the warmth of your hands and the pressure on your chest. Take note of your chest rising and falling beneath the hands, focusing again on that deep rhythmic cycle of breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Great. I'd now like you to say to yourself the next two phrases. May I be kind to myself? May I accept myself just as I am? Finding yourself within those phrases. Come back to your breath and the sensations of hands on your chest. Having a gentle awareness of any emotions that might have been evoked due to those last two phrases. Let's take a few more deep breaths together. We'll say 3. Yeah. Okay. Now on your screen is going to be a list of 9 compassionate phrases. And I'd like you to select the 2 that speak to you the most in your situation and bring to you feelings of self-compassion. And I'd say, if these phrases don't speak to you, then feel free to use your own, any mantras or sayings that you may have that to you evoke feelings of kindness and love. So, the 9 sayings listed on the screen. May I be safe. May I forgive myself. May I be happy and free from suffering. May I safely endure this discomfort. May I find peace in my heart. May I be strong. May I protect myself. May I learn to live with ease and well-being. May I accept the circumstances of life. Okay. Now that we have those 9 phrases on the screen, select the 2 that mean the most for you. And what we'll do is take 5 deep breaths, after which we'll repeat the 6 phrases. So the first 4 all together, and then the last 2 being those unique to you. So 5 deep breaths. Great. And now we'll say our 6 phrases out loud. This is a moment of suffering. Suffering is a part of life. May I be kind to myself. May I accept myself just as I am. May I safely endure this discomfort. May I find peace in my heart. So, the next time you find yourself feeling stressed, annoyed, or badly, what I'd like you to do is to repeat these 6 phrases. So, the first 4 followed by the 2 of your choosing, whilst engaging with soothing touch. Now, moving on to our second reflective exercise of the day, we're going to explore the use of self-compassionate language. Yeah. We're going to look at the ways in which we speak to ourselves and how we can together develop a kinder way of doing this. We're going to take the next 3 minutes or so to answer the following questions. So, if you can, please get your pen and paper ready. So, looking at this, what types of things do you typically judge or criticize yourself for? Could this be your appearance, relationships, ability to care, organization, whatever it may be. Question 2, what language do you use with yourself when you notice a flaw or a mistake? And the third, looking at the languages and the types of words you listed above, take note, is this kind? Is it compassionate? Or is it perhaps more critical? How do you think you could reframe this language to be more kind, to be more supportive, or more understanding? What can you do to help yourself remember that you're only human, and to really acknowledge things as they are without blowing them out of proportion? Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll just take maybe 2 minutes actually for you to have a think and to jot down some answers. Great. I'll get you to come back in. And now, as you go about your day and your week, I'd like you to notice when you find yourself using harsh or unkind language towards yourself, and try to reframe your internal dialogue so that it's a little bit more self-compassionate. Okay, so this brings us to the end of this session. Homework will be to engage in soothing touch. Ensure you take a self-compassionate break the next time you notice yourself feeling stressed or badly, and to take gentle notice of when you might be using harsh or unkind language towards yourself. To bring awareness to this and try to reframe your internal dialogue.